Udah.
Udah, Hit.
Udah ini udah. Udah ya? Udah. Oke, so kelihatan nggak saya, Pak?
Kelihatan.
Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. So here, I'm with Ajay. I'm the partner of Ajay in the section to talking about rethinking the role of communicative competence in language teaching. So Ajay, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so could you hear me?
Yes, sure.
So let's start this presentation. So in this section, we will present about rethinking the role of communicative competence in language teaching. So Ajay, this is your turn to start this presentation.
Okay. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to discuss the rethinking of community content. So here are the concepts. So communicative, what is communicative actually? So communicative consists of language, interaction, message, information, tool, and understand. So what are those? So well, let's connect each other. Communicative with language. So of course, language is the tool for communication. And communicative with interaction, of course, you need to interact with other people to communicate something because we have to speak, we have to listen. So that means the interaction message. In communicative, you need to deliver a message. And then information. This is message. You have to deliver information with your communicative purposes. And the communicative is tool. So communicative is tool. Uh, is a tool for understand each other, and then is understand. So what is communicative relating with understand? Well, actually, this is how people understand each other about the message, about the information that they deliver. So that's the meaning of communicative. Next. So here are the introduction. So what is actually communicative competence? There are two pictures over there, and both of them describe an interaction between two people and between three people and so on. And the first picture, we have some people who interact with each other. And the second picture, like I said before, the communicative has to deliver a message. And the communicative competence is the ability to use language in interaction to understand message and make ourselves understood in turn. So this is the definition of communicative competence. Next. So this is the concept of the communicative competence. So communicative competence is a term coined by the anthropological linguist Del Gims. He put forward this notion in response to the theories of the formal linguist Noam Chomsky, who focused on linguistic competence and claimed that any consideration social factor was outside the domain of linguistics. So here are we can see from the left side, we have a Chomsky, 1957 and 1965. Chomsky delivered linguistic competence, and in 1967 and 1972, we have Hans delivered linguistic competence and socio-linguistic competence. Linguistic competence is the rules for describing sound system or combining sounds in morphemes and morphemes into sentence. One also needed notion of socio-linguistic competence, the rules for using language appropriately in context to account for language acquisition and language use. Hans thus argued that language structure in text acquisition were not context-aware, while Chomsky had claimed they were, for example, that an innate language mechanism was a station account for first language acquisition. So here are from the third square, we have Canale and Swain in 1980. Uh, they deliver grammatical competence, strategic competence, and sociolinguistic competence. And in 1983, we have Canale. He delivers grammatical competence, strategic competence, sociolinguistic competence, and discourse competence. And in 1995, Sals Maria et al. Delivered linguistic competence, strategic competence, sociolinguistic competence, actional competence, and discourse competence. Next. So here are from the first picture, we can see that Sals Maria delivered the five competencies in communicative. There are discourse competence, actional competence, strategic competence, linguistic competence, and sociocultural competence. So we can see the arrows indicate the various components are constantly interacting with each other, and the discourse component is constructed to place the discourse component in a central position when it comes to lexicogrammatical resources. So from the Sales Muria delivered in 1995, it revised from the second picture from five competencies in communicative. Muria revised into six competencies. There are discourse competence, uh, formulaic competence, sociocultural competence, linguistic competence, interactional competence, and the outside one is strategic competence. Next.
Okay, so I will explain about this slide. So there are six competence here. First is socio-linguistic competence, then discourse competence, linguistic competence, formulaic competence, interactional competence, and the last is strategic competence. Therefore, the first competence is socio-linguistic competence. You can read this slide that it refers to the speaker's pragmatic knowledge. That is how it is about how to express message appropriately within the overall social and cultural context of communication. So this is about how we express message appropriately. Then when we what is it? When we deliver a message, we also have to giving attention in about the social and cultural context in that language when we doing a communication. Then for the second competence, we have discourse competence. That is refers to the selections, sequencing, and arrangement of words, structures, and utterances if on the spoken message. It means that I think this is about our ability in arranging words, arranging sentence to make clearly what we want to deliver to the others. I mean, if we have communication, then we have message there. We have to arrange well the sentence to make sure that the message is delivered well. Then for the third competence will explained by my friends Ajay. This is your turn.
So
Ajay?
here are the linguistic competence. So linguistic competence refers to ability how to use a language code or system itself and all its component part. Well, the language core or system in language we have phonological, we have lexical, we have morphological, and we have syntactic. So what is phonological? Phonological is related with sound. We have, for example, sound o, e, long e, short and something, etc. And phonological includes both segmental vowel consonants and syllable types, or suprasegmental, stress, intonation, or written. And in lexical, we have knowledge of both content words, nouns, verb, adjective. For example, the word book. We have to look from the context. For example, I have a book. So mean books in the sentence I have a book is the book refers to noun, but in the sentence I have a book room in a hotel, blah blah blah. So book in the sentence refers to verb. And then morphological, part of grammatical inflection, a productive, derivational processes. Morphological were related with word by word. So every word consists of letter. So letter means here with relating with morphological, and then we have syntactic. Syntactic consists of phrase, structure, word order, both con- canonical and marked, basic sentence type modification, coordination, subordination, embedding. For example, the word I have several books. We have to analyze from the each word. For example, I as the subject noun, and then have as the predicate verb, and a book is the noun phrase. So that is syntactic. Next, next.
Wait for the next slide. Okay, this is the
And the fourth one is formulaic competence. So the formulaic competence refers to those speaks any repeated chunks of language that speakers use heavily in everyday interaction. So for example, we have routines, big phrases like of course, of all of a sudden, and formulaic chunks like how do you do? I'm fine, thanks. Who are you? So it means we have how do you do in formal situation, and in informal situation we have how are you. And then another example is idioms like idioms don't beat about bush or something a piece of cakes. And then we have adjective like significant, mutually intelligent, and something. So it's used in everyday interactions. Next.
okay. Wait.
The fifth one is interactional competence. So interactional competence refers to the ways in which interaction co-constructs meanings and jointly establish understanding. So here interaction co-construct meanings. We have to understand the meaning, what the speaker says, or what the text need to deliver a message to the reader or listener. So that's the function of interactional competence.
So the slide will explain by me. So this is strategic competence. You can read in this slide that it refers to how to recognize and repair communication breakdowns, how to work around gaps in one's knowledge of the language, and how to learn more about the language in the context. So this is, I think, the point is about uh, the strategy is about how we can make a strategy uh, to what is it to deliver what we want to deliver. I mean, if we teaching language, then well, we want to explain something. So we have to what is it? Make sure that we have strategy to combine all of the competence that you can look at this at the picture that Jay has explained. That strategic competence or is combine all of competence, and it is a strategy to what is it what is it to deliver all of competence. So the Ajay, this is your turn to explain about model implies for language pedagogy.
So here are the model implies for language pedagogy. We have a 6 model to imply for language pedagogy. The first, the importance of culture. Well, it's really we all know that the culture affects so much in our language, and then the importance of discourse and context. As I said before, discourse competence and discourse competence is really necessary in our communicative competence. We have to make a flow to deliver our information. We have to make a structure to deliver our information. We have to structure our sentences, sentence by sentence, phrase by phrase, and words by words to make it clear to be delivered to a listener or readers. And the third one is the need to balance language as a system and language as a formula. We all know that language is the key of the communication, and the system of language and the language as formula is we have to balance it. The formula, and of course, in English we have the grammatical as the formula in language, but the system in language, the system in English is the communication. So that's we need to balance each other.
Okay, so the next is the need to focus on dynamic aspect of interaction. So Ajay has explained about the interaction competence. Then was the aspect of interaction, dynamic aspect of interaction has a big impact in teaching language. So I think this is important that we have to understand about dynamic aspect of interaction. Then the need to focus on strategies from time to time. Yes, we have to focus on strategies that, uh, as I said, that strategic competence is combining all of competence. This is how to combine all of competence, and so we also focus on this competence on the strategies to and we have to give attention in hours in this from time to time. I mean, we have to focus, we have to give attention to strategies. Okay, so the next sample lesson online, Ajay will explain. Sample lesson online. Ajay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Well, the next is the sample lesson online. Well, this is the third one in model implies for language pedagogy. So sample lesson online is a very important to discuss this communicative competence, because communicative competence is something that not only we need in in daily interaction, but we need also in online. So online sample lesson online is something that we really need to focus on.
Yes. Okay, so the next one. So the conclusion is communicative competence. You can read by yourself that communicative competence can have different meanings, depends on the target learners and on the pedagogical objectives in any given context. In the course of a thorough needs analysis and the curriculum development process, a model such as the one proposed should be adapted to the communicative needs of the learners. So communicative competence can have different meanings depends on the target learners. So it could not be same in another country. So every country has their culture, has their their how to interaction and the others. So Ajay, could you give the conclusion by yourself?
Well, yes. Well, as you said before, that communicative competence can have different meanings depending on the target learners. Well, of course, uh, I'm I'm from Indonesia, and we have a communicative competence by ourselves, and it may be different from my our friends from England or from the US. but the basic communicative competence is the same. We have the interactional competence, we have the discourse competence, we have the formulaic competence, we have the social linguistic competence, and the model that implies pedagogy will be the same. For example, the needs of the culture. We have the culture that impact our communicative competence. So I think that the communicative competence have a different meanings depending on the target learners.
Yes. Hey, yes, thanks for watching this video. Uh, thanks for watching this video, and I think that's all
And
that
that's
we
all for
can.
our presentation. Thank you
That's
so
all.
much.
Is that's all that we can explain about the communicative competence.
Communicative
So
competence.
thanks for watching. Thanks to Ajay. Thanks to my partners. Thanks to myself. Thanks to my lecturer. This is what we can do. Okay, thank you and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
How to stop this recording?
Itu ada stopnya.
Ding.